Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
Yeah. Listen, success is whatever you make it. If you want to be happy, you want to provide for your family.
Live.
You gotta put that work in, man. You gotta go get
Learn.
it. See, listen, this is what I tell them.
Serve.
I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals.
Inspire.
I go out and I go get it. How to go,
You're in the
that's
right
all I know. I
place.
don't
You're
succeed
checking
if I
out
don't breathe.
Chip
Success,
Baker,
what does it
the
mean?
Success
If I
Chronicles.
conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. And today we are here with my guy, Mr. Greg Culpen, a great guy doing some great things to make a positive difference in our world. And I'm so thankful to have him on this episode. So first off, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I know off air we talked about, a little bit about your life story, but if you don't mind sharing your story and tracking it till now.
Okay, so I've grown up, been born and raised in the city of Stanton, Virginia. Very humble beginnings. My mom and dad divorced when I was a very young child, so I had to work through that through most of my life. As I grew up, I tried to find out who I was and tried to find my own identity. And through that, have been very involved in church since the day I was born, which is paramount for me in my current life now, as I am a worship leader at my church. Have a great and wonderful family. I have a blood brother, and through marriage, I have a stepbrother and a stepsister, and our families have all grown. And we've been involved. My mom remarried almost 38 years ago. And so this family, this inserted family, is as much blood to me as anybody could ever be.
Yeah.
And I've had the opportunity to watch their kids grow up, be an uncle, be a great uncle. And it's just, as I'm getting older, I find these little things that didn't seem like much before, that now it seems so much to have those opportunities to be able to see these kids grow up and be involved, and not only be a dad myself. I've been married almost 24 years now. I have a 20-year-old son who's playing Division II ball in Maryland, and a younger son who will be 17 at the end of this month and getting ready to start his senior year of high school. So we are very busy, and not so much looking forward to things slowing down when these kids are gone, and then my wife has to learn to like me again.
I love it, man. It's good stuff. Well, what are 3 things you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
3 things. I think the first thing for me, and I'll give a little bit of a background, is my father, my birth father, was an alcoholic for 20 some years plus, and put himself into rehab, cleaned his life up. And in my younger days, I thought that was a cool path for me, where drinking and partying and hanging out with the wrong crowd was the place to be. And I think in saying that, what I accomplished was, one day I woke up just trashed and wasted, had been partying too much.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, I recognized what I was becoming, and I was becoming my father. And I always had told myself, I don't want to grow up and be my dad. I don't want to do what my dad did and be that kind of example to my future children. And at that moment, I said, no more. I stepped away from drinking and partying and being that kind of a person that I didn't want to be. Begged forgiveness from my girlfriend, who I had stepped away from because I thought the grass was greener. And I think for me, that was just a huge accomplishment in my younger years, just trying to figure out what path I wanted to follow. Did I want to go down a path of destruction, or did I want to turn it around and recognize you're doing the wrong thing and you've got to make things right? So that was probably first for me. I think secondly, I'm getting ready to celebrate in June 24 years of marriage with my wife. We have been through, I'm sure, as many husband and wives have. We've been through ups and downs and hills and valleys and everything that we could possibly go through. I've hit some extremely low points, and the fact that I'm able to say that she loves me and she is a God-loving woman, and was able to say, even through your mistakes, God has given me the will and the want to make things right with you. That I know you've made mistakes and we're not perfect, but we're going to move on and we're going to continue this. I married you for better or for worse, and it's worse now, but I know it can be better. And also being able to earn the respect of my kids. I was hard on my kids, always pushed them to do really good in school, and no more than any other parent. But to me, for my kids to grow up and be able to sit back and go, thanks so much for pushing me, for making me who I am, for making me realize that these things are important in life. And the only way for me to be a success is to recognize that I've got to push myself. I've got to have a good work ethic, and I got to move forward.
Yeah.
And lastly, I think my third greatest accomplishment to date is I am a FCA character coach. And I was presented with this opportunity about 4 or 5 years ago. I walked into it, had no clue what I was doing, had to kind of baby step my way through it. Luckily, I was placed with our high school football team where my son was playing ball, and most of the kids that he were playing ball with were kids that I had coached in Little League football. So I've known these kids since they were 8 years old. Now they're all 19, 20, 21 year old. So I feel like they're my kids.
Yeah.
But to be able to step in and be a godly figure on the football field, to be able to share in a devotion every week, to be able to touch these kids in a way that maybe they don't get outside of athletics, maybe they don't get it at home. And for me to make that a success was a huge accomplishment for me, especially when I had no idea how it was going to turn out. Are these kids going to accept what I'm saying? Are they going to hear what I'm saying? And I feel like if one kid along the way can stop and go, man, I remember Coach Culpen had said, this is going to be a tough time in my life. And if I've reached one kid, then I've done my job and I've done what God's put on my heart to teach these kids.
It's good stuff right there. I love it. And I would definitely consider those things to be something to be proud of and successful. So let's hit on success. What is your definition of success?
My definition of success, I've spent time thinking about it and trying to come up with, the perfect words. And I don't know that I have the perfect words, but I feel like success is the process. For me, I think it's the process of creating, pursuing, and achieving life goals through victory or defeat, because success isn't always pretty. We always want success to be pretty. We want it to be, rainbows and unicorns and everything's great and it's all fine and dandy. But sometimes we find defeat, and that's the greatest success. Is falling flat on your face to go, man, oh man, this is what I need to do to be successful. And I don't want to do that again. So we find ways to make ourselves better.
And I love it. Can you repeat that definition again? That's good stuff. People need to hear that.
The process of creating, pursuing, and achieving life goals through victory or defeat.
Love that. And give me a second because I'm writing that down. So the process of creating, pursuing, and achieving life goals through victory or defeat.
That's right.
Man, I love that. That's good stuff. Well, again, before we get off, I would like to give you an opportunity to share with the audience where they can go follow you and check you out with all of the amazing things that you have going on.
I appreciate it, man.
And where can they check you out?
Oh, well, I'm on Facebook at Gregory K. Culpen. I am on Twitter at The Great Big Wah. And that's all I do. I'm not a big social media guy, but I have honestly found that Twitter is a very successful way to connect. And I've found that there's so many connections on here that are right now that are just priceless. That they're growing me as a man, as a
Yeah.
Christian, as a follower, and just learning from everybody out there.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, I want to just, tell you again, thank you so much for taking the time to interview, and just wish you continued success with what you're doing, because, man, what you're doing is so needed, and I think it also revives us as well as we're doing it, because it
Right.
allows us to be in alignment with our assignment.
That sounds awesome, Coach. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you, and thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.